Imagine a small town nestled between rolling hills and endless fields of wildflowers, where the sky always seemed to be painted in shades of blue. This was the home of Charlie, a shy boy with a big dream. Charlie often found himself lost in his little world, a tiny room filled with books, paper scraps, and a half-finished kite frame. Outside his window, he could hear the laughter of other kids playing, their joy ringing out like bells. But Charlie? He sat quietly at his desk, whispering to his kite, "You're gonna fly higher than any of theirs. Just wait." Charlie wasn't like the other kids. He was smaller, quieter, and often the target of teasing. "Hey, Charlie, think you'll ever grow tall enough to fly a real kite?" They'd laugh, but Charlie didn't let their words crush him. Instead, he clung to the memory of his father, who had always told him, "The sky is the limit, Charlie. Anything is possible if you keep trying." Those words echoed in his heart every time he looked at the worn photograph of his dad smiling beneath a sky full of kites. The annual kite festival was fast approaching, and the town was buzzing with excitement. It was the event of the year, where kites of every shape and color would fill the sky. But fancy kites cost money, and Charlie didn't have any to spare. So he did what he could. He scavenged. Old newspapers, broken sticks, and torn cloth became treasures in his hands. He worked tirelessly, his fingers aching as he tied knots, smoothed edges, and adjusted the frame. Each night he whispered to his creation, "You're my little kite that could. We'll show them." The first time Charlie tested his kite, it barely lifted off the ground before crashing. His heart sank as he picked it up, the fabric torn and the frame bent. He sat on the ground dejected, staring at the broken pieces. But then he heard his father's voice in his mind. "Anything is possible if you keep trying." With renewed determination, Charlie got to work. He scavenged for stronger materials, reinforcing the frame with an old broomstick and stitching the fabric with thread he found in his mother's sewing kit. He practiced every day, learning how to read the wind and adjust the kite's angle. Charlie also began to observe other kites. He watched how the wind carried them, how their tails balanced them, and how their shapes influenced their flight. He took notes, sketching new designs and experimenting with different tail lengths. Each failure taught him something new, and with every adjustment, his kite improved. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Charlie's kite finally stayed aloft. It wasn't perfect, but it danced in the breeze, its colorful tail streaming behind it. He laughed out loud, a sound so rare that even his mother came to the window to see what had made him so happy. Finally, the day of the festival arrived. The town square was alive with chatter and laughter, the sky dotted with kites of every imaginable design. There were dragons, birds, and even a kite shaped like a giant sun. Charlie's hands trembled as he held the string of his homemade kite. It wasn't the fanciest or the biggest, but it was his. As the competition began, Charlie's kite lifted off the ground, wobbly at first. He could feel the eyes of the crowd on him, some filled with doubt, others with curiosity. Then a sudden gust of wind caught the kite, and it soared higher. Charlie's heart raced. "Come on," he whispered. "You can do it." But just as his kite reached the same height as the others, disaster struck. The string tangled, and the kite dipped dangerously. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Charlie's hands shook, but he didn't let go. He remembered his father's words and adjusted the string with careful precision. Another gust of wind came, lifting the kite higher than before. It soared past the others, its bright colors glowing against the blue sky. The crowd erupted in cheers. Even the kids who had teased him before were clapping and shouting his name. Charlie couldn't believe it. Tears filled his eyes as he looked up at his kite, now the highest in the sky. His mother ran up to him, wrapping him in a tight hug. "Your dad would be so proud," she whispered. As the festival ended, Charlie wasn't just the winner of the competition. He was a hero in the eyes of his peers. The kids who had once mocked him now asked him to teach them how to make kites. And Charlie, with a heart full of joy, gladly shared his knowledge. Weeks later, the sky above the town was filled with colorful kites, each one crafted with Charlie's guidance. He had turned his dream into reality, proving that resilience and belief in oneself could lift even the smallest dream to the greatest heights. Sometimes, late at night, Charlie would sit by his window and look at the photograph of his father. He would whisper, "We did it, Dad, the little kite that could." And he felt in his heart that his father was smiling down at him. Charlie's story didn't just inspire the kids in his town, it became a lesson for everyone. Parents told their children about the boy who never gave up. Teachers used his story to explain resilience. And Charlie? He became a symbol of hope, a reminder that even the smallest among us can achieve greatness with determination and belief. As Charlie grew older, the memories of the festival remained vivid. He began hosting kite-making workshops at the local community center, encouraging kids to embrace their creativity and believe in their abilities. "Every kite starts with a dream," he'd tell them, handing over pieces of cloth and sticks. "And every dream can fly if you work hard enough." The annual Kite Festival also took on a new significance. It was no longer just a competition, but a celebration of community and resilience. Families gathered not only to fly kites, but to share stories of perseverance. Charlie's name became synonymous with the festival, and every year he was invited to judge the competition, though he often spent more time helping kids fix their kites than critiquing them. One year, a little girl named Lily approached Charlie with a broken kite. Tears streamed down her face as she held up the tangled mess. "It's ruined," she sobbed. Charlie knelt down, his kind eyes meeting hers. "It's not ruined," he said gently. "It's just waiting for you to make it stronger." Together they worked to repair the kite, and when it finally soared, Lily's laughter filled the air. Charlie's belief in the power of resilience had a ripple effect. Stories of his kindness and determination spread beyond the town, inspiring others to host their own kite festivals and celebrate the values he stood for. Journalists wrote articles, and schools invited him to speak about his journey. Yet Charlie remained humble, always crediting his father's wisdom and the little kite that had taught him so much. Even as an adult, Charlie never stopped flying kites. On quiet evenings, you could still find him on the hill outside town, a kite string in his hand and a peaceful smile on his face. The boy who once whispered to his kite had become a man who inspired a community, proving that sometimes the smallest dreams can lead to the greatest heights. So the next time you're faced with a challenge that seems insurmountable, remember Charlie and his little kite that could. Sometimes all it takes is determination, creativity, and a belief that the sky truly is the limit. Thank you for watching this story here on Timeless Storyscape. If you enjoyed this tale, be sure to like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories. And remember, the next adventure is just around the corner. See you soon.